die again. Well, this was a quick run. Yeah. Well, hello there. Just Will here again, and today we're going to do a quick, just usual recap after a stream. It's a bit of an interesting one. There's lots of things to go over. So, production is now semi-sorted. That's not working out, it should be, but we'll I'll let that go and do some floor grading because I want to do a bit of tidying up today and get this place a little bit more organised, basically. So I'm going to start doing a bit of that. We've got, I don't think there was anything done on this part of the system. The filtration system is still chugging along quite nicely. We did actually get the farm kind of sorted. So the CO2 system is now piped in. I did actually add a chip to the CO2 tank. I didn't actually sort out this problem, but we'll gloss over that. So there is now a CO2 vent that is regulated using a pressure valve, I think it was. So basically, if it goes below 50 kilopascals in here, it will let a bit of gas in. I've also got the tank being cooled automatically with passive vents to, I think it's about 21 degrees. I've also been getting some tomatoes off here. We've got one generation of seeds already, and they have actually mutated ever so slightly. Not a huge amount. Higher yield rates, things like that, so nothing too crazy. I still need to sort out these so they're not being cooked by the light, but we'll go through that probably at another time. So the main thing was I started running into was the power issues. I need to really sort this power out because at the moment a lot of these things are not wired in correctly. They've all been kind of bodged in. So I need to resort this cabling out, either moving the wind turbines over to this side, I think that's probably what I'm going to do, and then have this as my main feed out from the batteries. Because at the moment they're kind of only doing this little area, whereas our other stuff is actually feeding off the excess power from the wind turbines. So not a great system at the moment. I have put on the portable scrubber just to take the pollutants and the O2 out of this room, so it does actually have a way that we can just slowly move the gas out of here as we need to. That's not what I want. There we go. So at the moment we are at 60% O2, 40% CO2. There's a bit of nitrogen here, so I might just put a nitrogen filter in there just to pull a little bit more through. But basically that's all we need to do, is just get this O2 out, and then this room will be just pure CO2. So, now, the other big event that happened during the live stream, and this was quite a big event, should we say. We were happily chatting away, talking about the bits and bobs, other games, things like that. And then I sort of said, oh yeah, one of the early sort of followers of the channel on the Twitch side when I was doing just the Twitch streaming was Rocket to Guns, and I didn't realise that was Dean Hall, the CEO of Rocket Works. So anyway, and he then was actually watching at the time, and he said he's a handsome chap and things like that, or sounds like, rumours are he's a handsome chap and things like that, and anyway, we got chatting, and he has generously gifted me 3 codes for Stationeers. Now, I'm still up and up, I'm trying to work out the best way to do sort of a giveaway, whether it's going to be once a month. Future Just Will here, just to say that when I was editing this through, I realised that I was speaking about the cross-platform systems. Now, I've done some research, and the cross-platform giveaway systems aren't free. I thought they were, or there'd be something that was free, but no, they all want, you know, quite a bit of money actually just for doing a giveaway. So sadly, what I've had to do is I'm just going to concentrate on the Discord server. You can join that for free. It's open to anyone. You just have to click a little green tick thing to get you into it. Basically, it's like a bot protection thing. But basically, we'll put it on there, and we're going to run it every month. So there'll be one at the end of January, one run at the end of February, and one end of March. And they'll run throughout the month going through. So if you're catching this later on, you'll have a chance to enter it. Anyway, back to normal scheduled service. But yeah, and then hopefully we can get more people interested in the game, because at the end of the day, we were sort of chatting about it, and we were saying that this game really it's the beginning bit, just getting people into the game. It is a complicated game, and that's why I've been trying to do a lot of little tutorials, trying to break down the basics of the game. So anyway, enough of me rambling on about previous stream things. it's time for me to start doing a bit of building. So I think what I'm going to do is start with moving wind turbines over to here, take all this stuff out, but this is not very necessary. Probably move the weather station somewhere else. Not 100% sure yet where I'm going to put it. But basically make this my wind/power generating area. I should really look at actually making the big wind turbines, because I think I'm now at a stage where I probably can make these. Yeah, Electrum, which I think we've got a fair bit of. Yes, we have. So, okay, what I might do then is actually build the big ones just here, leave the little ones temporarily there, and then just rip them up once the big ones are in. And then, yeah, that should be good to go. So, right, I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll catch you all in a second. So I've upgraded the wind turbines just in time for a storm to turn up. So I've now also sorted out the power, so the cable is going straight into the batteries, and then the heavy gauge coming out of the room is after the batteries, so coming through, around the floor, through the wall, get through the doorway, and into here. So now each section is also isolated off, so this is doing the atmospheric filtering system. This one's for production, which I should really move up onto a wall position, because I'm going to sit and trip over every time. I've also sorted out the floor a bit more, so it's a bit more organised. And yeah, so I think most things are kind of there now. So the power is in a better state. Now there's about to be a dust storm turn any second, so I think what I'm going to do is batten down the hatches, literally and metaphorically, and actually do some farming stuff, because the farming system needs a bit of a TLC now. Because I think basically I'm just going to keep trying to fix things that are all a bit bodged. Because it's sort of, well, shall we say, this has turned into a bit of a fix all my bodges sort of episode, where it's all little things that I've plumbed in and not really thought about what I'm doing. So, like, this room is still getting really toasty. The atmospheric should be coming through, yeah, but still too warm, really. The batteries are full, so it'd be a bit of a waste of time worrying about the windstorm or snowstorm. Yeah, so generally everything's kind of in a good spot now. I think this should be no, it's not at the stage of seeding again, so let's just check again, see what's going on with this. Right, so let's see. Yeah, too much light received, too much darkness received. Oh, it needs more light. Okay. There you go. That's now going to get its light level it needs. Yeah, so when you see these sort of numbers like this, where it says darkness received and darkness received, light stress, the light stress is basically based on these two numbers here. So it's already extremely stressed with the darkness. So it just needs some more light now to really get that back up again, and this will bring the stress back down again. So at the moment, it's not looking too great. The light efficiency is only 15% for the plant. So we're not doing too great on that one. But the ideal pressure is all good. Everything else looks okay. So it's just, again, the light and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is now sort out this. So it actually, these are turning on and off as they need to. I might even actually have a little fiddle around, see if I can read the state of the plants themselves. Here we go. So here's a hydroponic station with all the plant slots in there. Interestingly, it actually has indexes all the way up to 8 locations, which I'm not quite sure how that's possible, because there is only 4 slots in the system, but for some reason it's got 8 slots in its system. So, weird one. So down here we have got all these bits here, but these aren't actually going to be any real good to us, shall we say. Unless this is, again, this is different to since the update, because we've got efficiency, max quantity, and things like that. I got a feeling that some of this information is probably not quite up to date anymore. So yeah, we might have a little bit of a problem reading that information off, but what I'll do, I'm going to just do a very simple dumb on-off code, I think. Just bung it in here and just basically turn them all off and on and just leave it at that, because I can't see any other way of doing it. I mean, the only issue I just thought of is the plants. Different plants are going to need different food or different say different foods, different rates, aren't they? So like the potatoes need darkness time of 3 minutes, light time of 10. We have a look at the tomatoes. They're going to require 5 minutes of darkness, 8 minutes of light. So I could probably encourage the plants to have the same times, but that's going to take time. So I think I'm going to have to put in one per machine, aren't I? So redo the wiring a bit, put in a simple timer, MIPS code, and just have it on, off, things like that. So great. Let me do that then. Well, I spent a little time just going through some ideas, trying to work out some bits, well, should we say tripping on a few basic hurdles, like how do you even set a variable? Turns out it's the move command. Anyway, so I've got a chip going and I've made a little script, and I'll quickly run you through what I've done. So simple as using a tick system. And I've got it only going every minute, because most of the plants run at every minute rate stuff. So 8 minutes darkness, 5 minutes light, or vice versa, things like that. So I'm basically setting some alias at the top here. Hydro being the device with controller. On-off, which is a register that is basically known what mode it's in. So if it's in the on mode or the off mode. I probably could actually just read that in from the hydro if I thought about it. Yeah, I could have done actually, but hey ho, it's done now. Tick, basically going through incrementing it. That's the counter basically. So we have on time in minutes. So that's 5 minutes on, off 8 minutes. And then I have an exponent there because I was still trying to work out how to set things. So I'm going to just put that as move. As it goes through, I could probably just do something like that. There we go. Make it a bit more easier. So at start, it sleeps for a minute, just for basically incrementing it. And then we add to the tick plus 1. So basically it's incrementing this tick value up slowly. We then say, right, if it's greater than 0, the on-off, which is basically mode, we jump to on. So if it's 1, we go to on. If not, continue on. And then if it's greater than tick off time, so basically if the off time is greater than the off time here, which is 8, that probably actually should be greater than or equal to, if I think about it. Yes, that should actually be greater than or equal to. So let me just grab that. There we go, BGE. It took me a little while to think because I thought there'd be a few more letters. Anyway, so that will now break if it's equal to or greater than on time. And I'll do the same on this one here. So we'll go through and basically says, right, if it's got over the off time, it then goes on to the turn on, which is simply turn on hydro, reset the tick to 0 and move or set the mode to on. And off it goes again and jumps back to start and continues through. So there's a bit extra in here, to be honest, and probably efficiencies that can be done, but for something as simple as this, and just so it splits out some of the variables so you can see like a mode switch, things like that, just make it a bit easier basically to understand. So on off probably could literally just be reading the state of the light itself. So but yeah, so that works quite nicely. I'll just update the code so that is actually on the right one. There we go. That does mean these had a bit too much light, to be honest. I'll give them a little bit more light just to start off with, because they're falling behind a bit on the light circle. Mind you saying, now the sun's coming up, probably all right. So, but anyway, so that's now these automators. So now I haven't got to worry about the plants anymore. I still want to get some more seeds out of this, but I'm not getting anything, and I am now about to run out of soup because the soup is now at 0, so it is now empty. So pop that in there. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to take these and just microwave them just so I have some food going, because I'm at 69%. Nice. So at least that's there. We've still got all the other seeds to play with, so but at the moment I'm just going to stick with tomatoes because I know that this is kind of working, and this should be enough to just sustain me at the moment. And then I'm going to need more food, as such as potentially, as time goes on, I might bring extra people in, either it be my wife or people from Discord, such regulars have been on before, and just to add more strain to the station. So, but that's, yeah, as time goes on, and just to add a bit more element of chaos. So at the moment, this is the only area that is warm. Ultimately, I do want to build the rest of the base, because at the moment we don't have any living quarters, and I want to have a proper area. My gut feeling is I'm going for maybe this area here. Maybe this will be exterior, so it'd be an airlock here. But this will then be all outside because I don't want the gas stuff to be anywhere inside. And then have this area with this door here effectively open into what is going to be the interior of the base. And I keep falling in this hole. I will need to fill this in one day. So the idea being then build out this way a bit and make this like a living quarters type thing, but decoration, things like that. So just somewhere where it's a bit more hospitable to come in and out of, take off the spacesuit, and things like that. Do need to also finish off building out before that this area, which is entombing this, building an airlock system possibly here, going out that way and putting in the ore facility at the back. That might not be hugely necessary, but I'll see how it goes, because at the end of the day I have kind of semi-sealed this area off with this hatch, and I can always just pop a window open, let the cold in and things like that. So I think what I'm going to do is now crack on with laying up the foundations into this area and actually just start building the basic habitation area and getting a pressurized area, because I also want to now, after this episode, crank up the difficulty. So forcing me to have to open my helmet to eat, just to bring it back a bit more challenge, shall we say. I'm probably going to keep the drinking through helmet simply because it feels a bit silly having spacesuits we can't drink through. So I'm just going to say that we have a spacesuit that actually has a straw and a drink system built into it. Something simple as that. So I can just take a bottle with me to drink, because food is something that doesn't really go down as quickly. I might even increase my hunger rate just to add a bit more strain again to the system. So, and just see how it goes. Just, again, just some extra challenges just to add some more strain to the system, because at the moment we have gotten up to, like, I think day 50 of not dying. I've only died on the first day on the first stream, and that was just silly mistakes. So at the moment I'm kind of thriving a bit too well. So yeah, so I'm going to get this basic living area built. Basic box together, got some lights in, and hopefully it's been a nice little habitation area. Decent enough space to put in things like cryotubes, beds. Yeah, I'm going to keep the manufacturing area in its own little boxed off area. I need to add some lights to it so it's not just a dingy corridor anymore. I did have a little accident actually while I was fiddling around. When I was walking under here, it actually damaged my suit, so I will have to put a warning low head room, watch your head type of signage here, I think. Or maybe actually bother to do this properly, because actually looking at my piping is going, probably could send up that way. Oh no, I can't, can I? Because yeah, I can't do that because of the way the conveyors are. Possibly. Maybe. Actually, no, I can go up that way. Yeah, okay. I'll change that then. Make that go straight up. Make it a bit easier then to walk through instead of bonk my head and damage my suit every time. So, now, next thing I want to have a little play around with is the room sensor. So, in the sensor kit, we now have the present sensor, and it used to just work on one foundation area. But we now have a system where one extra sensor, I believe, that is a room sensor now. So let's have a look-see. So we have daylight, proximity, occupancy sensor. I think this is the one we want. Yes. Because I think this will tell us if this room has someone in it. So if I pump that, say, here. This is going to be heavy wire, heavy cable, unfortunately. If I step out, turns off, turns on. Excellent. So my thinking is, basically, we control this on and off. It will then save some power, and it just be as simple as, if I'm in this room, turn the lights on. I want to add the same thing into this room, possibly in the greenhouse as well. So then at least then we have a much more energy efficient way of doing things. Just run around, turn the lights on, things like that. Okay, so I had a little play around. Well, I say a little play around. I think the logic mirror I'm not quite sure it's for, actually, because there's only one simple screw and that's the input. And I think a logic right is all I need. Now, here's a little bit of a confusing thing going on. This is not connecting up. So that connects, that connects, that connects, but that doesn't connect. And I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That should just work. And it's the same with the proximity sensor. Right, so even trying it with the heavy gauge cable just to see, and I've placed it around different things, and yeah, it does not seemingly want to connect, annoyingly. So I think all I can do at this point in time is just fit it. So if I just do this, and then I think the best thing I can do is just leave it like that, knowing that I need to do this later. Because I don't think I'm going to worry about running out of power anytime soon. Saying that I'm running out of super power again, and I really need to sort my battery systems, which I will do now because I've got somewhere to put them. I'm thinking about putting them just here. So let me just go grab that actually and just start setting them up. Right, there's the battery chargers on. Now this wall here actually is the wrong type. This is going to be ripped out because that's still the old iron, which was the exterior wall for the greenhouse area. Now these are looking to be the flat wall type, so I might actually do that as the style going round. So instead of doing padded walls for the sides, I think I'll just do flat. So these will be composite, and yeah, continue that round. So now I do need to actually check to see what the interior is like in here, because I can't remember what I did in the walls on here. Right, let's just bypass that. Yeah, so luckily I haven't moved that wall off, so I do need to put an extra wall on this side. It looks like I started doing just the standard wall. Yeah, it looks like it. The composite, well, say composite, the actual normal flat or normal wall. I keep calling it flat wall, but it's wall. It's confusing me, all these different wall types. So yeah, I'll just continue that round. I'll probably even do it the same in here. So it's just the same. Yeah, just continue the same theme round. So nothing too crazy. Yeah, I still can't understand why that connection is not working, so I'm guesstimating it is just a bug currently with this version. I am on the stable branch, I'm not on the beta branch or anything odd like that, so it's quite a major bug actually, because that wasn't that long ago that was introduced. So yeah, I don't understand how that's happening as such. It might even be something to do with my save. Again, wouldn't surprise me. The next thing I think I want to do is actually seal this airlock off, get the airlock working now, change this one over so it then pulls oxygen from in here, change pipe work into here, and then turn the furnace on and start warming the space up, because minus 180 degrees Celsius is not really, should we say, habitable. Right, so I redirected that pipe work so it is now pulling from that space in there. Now the only problem is I've been cycling air through here a little bit too much, and I've actually dropped the temperature a little bit too far down, so hopefully when I do this, we'll now pull all the oxygen out of this room, and then the CO2 that should be warmed should start flowing in, if all is well. There we go, 13 degrees, so it is now slowly starting to increase. So what I'm going to do, leave this on for a little while, I'm just going to monitor it, and just bring that temperature back up, so it is more close to what tomato plants prefer. I mean, at the moment, they have slowed down actually, because I did frost them a little bit, so, but that's fine, it'll suffer along. Yep, that's still going. 14 degrees now, so this is not actually rising as much as I thought it would. Slowly coming back up, so yeah, I think this would be safe to actually just leave it running and let it fill back up again with just pure CO2. So that is actually this area prepped and ready to go. Perfect. Okay, kind of what we would call a happy little accident. As we always say, everything is fine, nothing to worry about here. Okay, well, what I'll do then, I think it's time to seal or get the airlock working and turn that furnace on. So hopefully no more no explosions and no other, should we say, mistakes will happen. Right, that's one airlock completed, and everything is now sealed off effectively. So we should now be able to start warming up the furnace. So let's try it. Let's just... I haven't got anything to process, I don't think, actually. Let me just check. There's a bit of iron, copper, nothing too crazy, a little bit gold. I don't think I need anything at the moment. I think it's in this machine. There we go. Let's see. Oh, we'll probably could do with some copper, so I might just get old Bertha here going. Right. Warm it up. Click the button. Right. Let's leave it like that for the time being. And then go and chuck some copper in there, so at least it's doing something useful while we're waiting. And no change. Still just freezing cold in here. What's this like over here? Oh, I had the output turned on. Well, that would cause a problem, wouldn't it? There we go. There goes a few megapascals in there. Shunt that copper through. Okay, so we'll leave that for a little while. I mean, we're down to... Well, it's not really getting that warm, is it, actually? Do I risk it? Do I risk having a bit more warmth? Oh, wait. Is there a way? No, there isn't a way. I was only thinking I could just put the radiator on the exhaust, but that doesn't actually work. Because the system will just be taking it out quick as anything. There's nothing in here anyway. Other than tiny little bits, and I'm guessing that's coming from the oxygen filter, portal filter, and they're still doing its job. Right, so temperature minus 130. Okay, I'll leave this chugging away for a little while. Well, on the morning of day 60, and slowly warming up the space, I think we'll call it there for this episode. So the next episode, or next, should we say, live stream, usual Saturday live stream, I'll hopefully have some more details of what I'm doing. So at this point, I would have put an edit at the beginning of the video just to emphasize this. I was planning to do like cross-platform giveaway, but because of issues with, should we say, the tools that I thought were readily available, turns out they all want money. And not being funny, I'm doing this all out of my own pocket at the moment, so shall we say I'm not going to chuck money into paying for a year for a basic competition thing. So at the moment, it's most likely going to be on Discord, and what I'm going to plan to do is one key at the end of each month. So we'll run this one a bit short in January, then there'll be another key giveaway on February and March. So that way then there'll be a bit more distributed out, and if you pick these episodes up later on, you can then still have a chance, maybe a month or two from the date today, and hopefully have a chance of picking up a free copy of Stationeers. Anyway, I hope to catch you all on Saturday, and I'll see you all then. Bye for now.